That night, the air in our house felt unusually heavy, thick with a silence broken only by the clock ticking in the kitchen. Just a few days earlier, my husband and I had hired a new nanny. She was a woman from a distant province, and her story was heartbreaking. She told us she was homeless, illiterate, and desperate for a chance. Out of pity, we took her in, hoping she could help care for our two young children. We called her Yaya. At first, everything seemed fine. Yaya was diligent, almost unnervingly so. She was always obedient, her head bowed, her eyes never meeting ours. During the day, she was a silent worker, moving through the house like a shadow. Never complaining, always finishing her tasks perfectly. But at night, things changed. Strange sounds started coming from her room, faint moans, like someone in terrible pain. We tried to ignore it, thinking maybe she was just having nightmares, or was homesick. But the sounds grew more unsettling with each passing night. One night, the moans were louder than usual, filled with a guttural agony that made my skin crawl. My husband was fast asleep. Curiosity, mixed with a growing sense of dread, finally got the better of me. I crept out of bed and tiptoed downstairs. I paused outside her door, listening. Silence. I slowly turned the knob. The room was empty. Her bed was neatly made, her few belongings untouched. A cold fear began to prickle at the back of my neck. Where could she have gone at this hour? I walked towards the kitchen, and that's when I smelled it. A coppery, metallic stench that hit me like a physical blow. The kitchen was dark, but a sliver of moonlight from the window revealed a horrifying scene. My heart didn't just freeze. It felt like it shattered. There, on the kitchen floor, was a large black dog. Its fur was matted and filthy, its body lean and muscular. It was hunched over a pile of raw meat it had torn from our refrigerator, ripping into it with a savage hunger. The sound of its teeth tearing through flesh and the stench of blood filled the room. I couldn't breathe. I just stood there, paralyzed by a terror I had never known. The dog's eyes, glowing faintly in the dim light, were not the eyes of an animal. They were filled with a malevolent intelligence. I finally found my voice and let out a scream that tore through the silent house. My husband's name was a desperate, choked cry. I heard him stir upstairs, shouting my name. I stumbled back, my eyes never leaving the creature. In a flash, my husband was by my side, grabbing a heavy pan from the counter. We both stared at the spot where the dog had been. It was gone, vanished. There was no sound of claws on the floor, no open door, no broken window. The raw, bloody meat was still on the floor, a grotesque reminder of what I'd seen, but the dog had disappeared as if it were never there. We searched the entire first floor, our hearts pounding in our chests, but found nothing. We tried to rationalize it. A stray must have gotten in somehow, but how? And how did it get out so silently? Shaken, we cleaned up the mess and went back upstairs, trying to calm our racing thoughts. We had just settled back into bed when a piercing cry shattered the silence. It was our youngest. We bolted from the room and burst into the nursery. The sight that met us will haunt me for the rest of my life. Our younger child was wailing, his leg covered in blood from what were clearly bite marks. Our older child was huddled in the corner of the bed, trembling uncontrollably, his face pale with terror. He pointed a shaking finger toward the open window, whispering the same words over and over again. Yaya, Yaya bit me. Then she turned into a dog and jumped out the window. From that night on, the nanny, Yaya, was gone. We reported it to the police, but they found no trace of her. No records, no family, nothing. It was as if she had never existed. we were left with our terrified children, a blood-stained nursery, and a hard, chilling lesson. You can never truly trust a stranger, no matter how pitiful or kind they seem on the surface. We moved houses shortly after, hoping to leave the memory behind. But we couldn't. The image of that black dog, its fierce eyes, and the shadow leaping from our child's window is etched into my mind forever. Even now, in the dead of night, I sometimes think I can hear faint moans carried on the wind, terrifying reminder that the world holds darkness. We can even begin to comprehend, and some doors once opened can never truly be closed.